Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, heart pounding, waiting for a message that never comes? Or maybe you catch yourself scrolling through their social media, searching for any tiny sign that they're thinking about you, even though deep down you know they probably aren't? If this sounds familiar, then you might be stuck in something far more complicated than just a romantic longing. You might be trapped in a pattern rooted in your inner child, and it's keeping you from experiencing love in a healthy, fulfilling way. Now, before you scroll past or click away, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you wait or hope, the same pain keeps coming back? Why you feel this magnetic pull towards your twin flame, yet it always seems to lead to heartache? It's not just coincidence. It's not bad luck. And it's certainly not a punishment. To understand this, we need to explore a little deeper. Not the surface story of "I love them, they don't love me back," but the underlying psychological and emotional forces at play. And it all starts with your inner child. Your inner child is the part of you that still carries the memories, fears, and unmet needs from your early years. It's the part of you that felt abandoned when a parent left, rejected when a friend betrayed you, or unloved when you didn't receive the affirmation you craved. And here's the crucial piece. Your inner child doesn't just exist in childhood. It is alive within you today, subtly influencing your choices, your relationships, and yes, your obsessive waiting for your twin flame. Think about it. Why do you keep waiting, hoping, and even torturing yourself with thoughts of, what if they text me? What if they come back? It's not just love. It's a desire to heal something inside you that was hurt long ago. Your inner child is saying, if they love me, I am safe. If they leave me, I am nothing. And so you find yourself trapped in a cycle of hope, disappointment, and longing, sometimes for years. Let's pause for a moment. Imagine a little version of yourself 5, 6, or 7 years old. Imagine this child sitting alone in their bedroom waiting for someone, maybe a parent, maybe a friend, to finally show up, finally notice them, finally love them unconditionally. That feeling of emptiness, that gnawing fear of abandonment, doesn't just vanish because you're now an adult. It lives inside you. And when you meet your twin flame, this part of you lights up like a signal flare. You see a chance to finally receive that love you've been missing. But here's the catch. Your twin flame is not here to fix your inner child. They're not your savior. And yet, your inner child doesn't know that. So you wait. You hope. You convince yourself that this time it will be different. You replay old fantasies in your mind. You imagine the perfect text, the perfect reunion, the perfect "we finally belong together." And every time the outcome doesn't match the fantasy, your heart breaks a little more. And here's the paradox that most people don't see. The very act of waiting in this way reinforces your inner child's fears and insecurities. Each unanswered message, each perceived rejection, each moment of uncertainty whispers, "See? You're not enough. You're not loved. You're still alone." And instead of healing, your inner child feels validated in its old wounds. The cycle continues. You hope, you suffer, you cling, then hope again. Now I want you to notice something. This isn't about blaming your twin flame. It's not about them being wrong or unavailable. It's about you and your relationship with yourself. The truth is, your twin flame can be a mirror, reflecting not just your love, but also your unresolved pain. They show you the places where your inner child still needs attention. And if you ignore this, you stay stuck. Ask yourself, are you truly waiting for your twin flame? Or are you waiting to heal that hurt little child inside? It's a subtle but powerful difference. One leads to genuine, mature love. The other leads to endless cycles of disappointment and heartbreak. To illustrate, let me share a story. Imagine Sarah, a woman in her late 20s, who met her twin flame online. From the very beginning, she felt a deep, almost mystical connection. Every message from him made her heart race. Every absence filled her with anxiety. She convinced herself that this love was worth any pain. She waited days, weeks, even months for him to reply, crafting mental scenarios of how they would finally be together. But every delay, every uncertainty triggered memories of her childhood. The times her father ignored her. The times her mother's attention was elsewhere. Sarah wasn't just hoping for a boyfriend. She was hoping to finally feel seen, wanted, and safe. And until she recognized that, every waiting moment felt like torture. This is why the question matters so much. Are you chasing love? Or are you chasing a sense of safety and validation that your inner child never received? If you don't pause and reflect, the pattern repeats itself over and over, keeping you trapped in suffering while your heart longs for union. And here's the most important thing. There is a way out. But first, you must recognize that the waiting, the clinging, the fear of letting go, it's all rooted in something deeper than your current relationship. It's your inner child speaking through your longing. And until you acknowledge it, no amount of external connection will satisfy you. So before we go any further, I want you to take a deep breath and consider this. What if the love you've been searching for in your twin flame has actually been inside you all along? What if healing your inner child could transform your longing into peace, your suffering into understanding, and your waiting into genuine joy? In the next part of this video, we'll explore exactly how this inner child dynamic creates blind hope, why it leads to clinging and fear of loss, and most importantly, the steps you can take to finally break free from this painful loop. But for now, just sit with that thought. Your suffering isn't meaningless. It's a signal, a guide pointing you toward the part of yourself that truly needs love, the part that has always been waiting just like you. And here's a final question to leave you with as you reflect. If you could speak to your inner child right now, what would you say? What does that little one need from you today to start feeling safe, seen, and loved? Take a moment and let that question settle. Because understanding the voice of your inner child is the first step toward transforming your pain into empowerment, and toward finally being ready for a twin flame connection that doesn't hurt, but nourishes. Have you ever found yourself imagining a future that hasn't even happened yet? Picture this. You're sitting alone, maybe late at night, your phone on your lap, heart racing, and you're thinking, maybe they'll text me tonight, maybe they're just busy, maybe this time it will be different. That moment, familiar to so many of us, is what we call blind hope. Blind hope is that powerful, often unacknowledged force that keeps you clinging to something, even when everything around you says it's time to let go. And here's the catch. It's not just about your twin flame or the person you're longing for. It's about your inner child, the part of you that was wounded long ago and has been waiting for love, safety, and validation ever since. Let's take a closer look. Imagine your younger self, maybe 5, maybe 8 years old. Think about a time when you desperately wanted someone's attention, their approval, or their affection. Maybe it was a parent who was often busy, emotionally unavailable, or inconsistent. Maybe it was a friend who ignored you when you needed them most. That little child learned a very specific lesson. If I can just wait long enough, if I can just be patient, maybe they will finally love me. Fast forward to today. That child still lives inside you. And when you meet someone who feels like a twin flame, your inner child sees an opportunity. A chance to finally receive the love they've been craving all along. But here's the problem. The hope that rises is blind. You're not seeing the situation clearly. Instead, you're filtering reality through your desire for fulfillment, through that aching need for reassurance. Blind hope often looks like this. You interpret every small action or inaction as a sign. Did they reply quickly? That's good, I must be loved. Did they not reply? That must mean they don't care. Or worse, that you're not enough. You create fantasies in your mind, imagining a perfect reunion, a perfect text, a perfect future together. You repeat these stories over and over, and they begin to feel real even when they are purely imagined. You ignore red flags, inconsistencies, or outright signs that the connection is not serving you. Every disappointment is rationalized. They must be busy, it's not really rejection, maybe next time. And why do we do this? Why does blind hope feel so irresistible, even when it brings suffering? The answer lies in your inner child's unhealed wounds. Your inner child learned that love was conditional, fleeting, or hard to earn. So now every opportunity for love, even if imperfect, is a signal to cling, to wait, to hope, because letting go feels too terrifying. Let me give you an example. Meet Alex. Alex met their twin flame online, a connection so intense it felt almost spiritual. They would message each other occasionally, sometimes days apart. Every time Alex didn't receive a reply immediately, anxiety set in. Every time there was a late response, hope soared. This time it will be different. They care, I know they do. Weeks turned into months. Alex found themselves constantly thinking about the other person, checking their social media profiles, analyzing every like, every comment, every online activity. And yet, every delay, every small disappointment, only fueled a stronger attachment. What's happening here is classic blind hope. Alex's inner child, hurt and seeking validation, saw this relationship as a chance to finally feel worthy. The pain of waiting, the anticipation, and the anxiety all acted as confirmation that the longing was meaningful. Every unanswered message was not just a minor inconvenience. It was a replay of old childhood fears of abandonment. Here's a question to reflect on. Are you really waiting for them? Or are you waiting to feel loved and safe as your inner child never did? Blind hope is also deceptive because it creates a false sense of control. You tell yourself, if I keep waiting, if I keep hoping, if I do the right things, eventually they will come back or things will work out. But here's the truth. Hope without action, hope rooted in fear, does not lead to freedom. It leads to more waiting, more suffering, and more cycles of disappointment. Think about this for a moment. How many nights have you spent awake, rehearsing what they might say, replaying old conversations, imagining every possible scenario in which things turn out perfectly? How many times have you convinced yourself that this one connection is your only chance at true love, ignoring the reality that love begins with you, not with someone else? That is the essence of blind hope. Blind hope is seductive because it feels like hope. And in fact, hope itself is not bad. It's natural, even healthy, when grounded in reality. But when hope becomes blind, it ignores boundaries, dismisses reality, and reinforces inner wounds. It becomes a form of emotional addiction, a loop that feeds on your fears while pretending to be love. Now let's break it down further. Blind hope has several key characteristics. 1. Projection. You project your desires and fantasies onto your twin flame, imagining they feel the same intensity or will behave in ways that align with your dreams, even without evidence. 2. Denial. You deny signs of incompatibility, mixed signals, or disinterest. Each disappointment is rationalized rather than acknowledged. 3. Attachment to outcome. You tie your emotional well-being to the other person's actions, letting every small act, or lack thereof, control your mood. 4. Time distortion. You lose perspective on time, waiting months or even years for a connection to materialize, believing that patience alone will create the desired result. Here's the heartbreaking reality. The longer blind hope persists, the more your inner child believes it must cling to survive. And the more it clings, the more suffering accumulates. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. But here's the silver lining. Recognizing blind hope is the first step toward breaking free. The moment you ask yourself, am I hoping for them, or am I hoping to heal my inner child? You begin to step out of the fog. Awareness is like a flashlight in a dark room. Suddenly, you see where you've been stumbling. And once you see it, you can begin to disentangle the longing for another person from the longing for self-love and inner safety. Ask yourself, how often does my hope ignore reality? How much of my emotional energy is tied to someone who may not reciprocate in the way I want? What would it feel like to shift my focus from hoping for them to nurturing the part of me that has been waiting all along? These are not just rhetorical questions, they are invitations. Invitations to examine the root of your suffering, to look beyond the surface story of romantic longing, and to connect with the inner child who has been silently guiding your emotions. Here's a simple exercise to start. Next time you notice yourself hoping blindly, pause. Close your eyes and imagine that little child inside. See their eyes, feel their heart, hear their silent plea for love and validation. Now ask yourself, what do you need from me right now? And instead of looking outward for that love, give it to them yourself. That shift, small as it may seem, begins to loosen the grip of blind hope. Blind hope doesn't disappear overnight, and that's okay. This is a process. Healing your inner child and breaking free from patterns of waiting takes patience, compassion, and consistent self-reflection. But each time you notice it, each time you turn your attention inward rather than outward, you are taking a step toward freedom. You are learning to hope, not blindly but wisely, grounded in reality, grounded in love for yourself. Remember, the pain of waiting is not a punishment. It's a signal. It's your inner child saying, I need attention, I need love, I need healing. And when you respond with care and presence, the blind hope begins to transform into empowered hope. Hope that does not chain you to suffering, but supports your growth, your clarity, and your ability to love healthily. So as you continue watching this video series, keep this in mind. Blind hope is not your enemy. Ignorance is. When you recognize it, when you name it, you start to reclaim your power. And with that power, you begin to step out of the endless cycle of waiting and into the path of genuine connection, starting with the person you have been waiting for all along, yourself. Have you ever noticed how, when it comes to your twin flame, letting go feels almost impossible? Even when reality is staring you in the face, mixed signals, emotional distance, or even outright rejection, you somehow find yourself holding on tighter. You cling, you rationalize, you convince yourself that if you just wait a little longer, love will arrive in the perfect form. This is not mere stubbornness. This is attachment, and it's deeply tied to your inner child. The part of you that was hurt, neglected, or unseen long ago, and is still seeking safety, validation, and unconditional love. Attachment in this context is not just a casual preference or a mild desire. It's an emotional pattern, a loop that your inner child learned early in life. Imagine being a child who never felt fully supported, loved, or noticed. Perhaps a parent was distant, inconsistent, or emotionally unavailable. Perhaps you were praised only for achievements, never for simply being yourself. Over time, your young mind develops a subconscious survival strategy. Clinging becomes a way to survive emotionally. Fast forward to adulthood. That inner child still exists within you, quietly shaping your behavior in relationships. When you meet a twin flame, the intensity of the connection triggers that old pattern. Your inner child says, "This is the chance I've been waiting for. I must hold on no matter what, or I will be abandoned again." Attachment often looks like this in practice. You check their messages obsessively, even when you know they may not respond immediately. You analyze every word, every pause, every emoji, reading meaning into the smallest gestures. You stay in contact, even when the relationship is painful or inconsistent, thinking that letting go would be unbearable. You forgive repeated hurts quickly, telling yourself that true love requires patience, while ignoring your own emotional needs. Let's illustrate this with a story. Meet Jason. Jason met his twin flame, Emma, through a mutual interest group online. From the beginning, their connection felt electric, almost otherworldly. When Emma was attentive, Jason felt exhilarated, almost addicted to the emotional high. But when Emma withdrew or went silent for days, Jason panicked. He found himself rationalizing. "She's busy, she has a lot going on, she still cares." Jason's inner child, carrying years of unmet needs for attention and validation, saw every withdrawal as a potential threat to survival. And instead of feeling empowered to set boundaries or redirect his energy, he clung. He waited, hoping for consistency that was often absent. Each message that came late was a temporary relief, a brief validation of worth, which reinforced the cycle. Here's the key insight. Attachment is not love, it's fear disguised as love. Love is expansive. Love allows space. Love nourishes both people involved. Attachment, on the other hand, constricts. It creates anxiety, insecurity, and a constant need for reassurance. It's a chain, linking your present to unresolved wounds from the past. And when your inner child is involved, the chain can feel invisible, almost natural. You think, "I love them. This is just how love feels." But what you're experiencing is often a survival strategy rooted in old pain. Attachment has several forms when it comes to twin flames. 1. Emotional dependency. You rely on their attention, approval, or affection to feel safe or whole. Without it, anxiety rises, mood drops, and self-worth feels threatened. 2. Obsessive focus. Your thoughts revolve constantly around them, what they are doing, how they feel, and whether you are meeting their expectations. 3. Forgiving too easily, too quickly. You excuse hurtful behavior because you fear losing them, ignoring your own boundaries or needs. 4. Clinging to fantasies over reality. You hold on to imagined scenarios of perfect love, instead of engaging with the reality of the situation. The danger of attachment is that it keeps you locked in cycles of hope, disappointment, and longing, which we explored in the previous section about blind hope. When combined, blind hope and attachment can create a self-reinforcing loop that traps your heart and mind. Here's another example. Consider Mia. She and her twin flame, Leo, shared a deep, soulful connection, but Leo was emotionally inconsistent. Some days he was warm and attentive. Other days he seemed distant or unavailable. Mia's inner child, craving security, responded with attachment. She forgave him repeatedly, checked his social media obsessively, and rationalized his absences. Every moment of connection felt like a reward. Every moment of absence felt like a threat. Mia's life became a pendulum swinging between exhilaration and despair, all driven by her inner child's need to avoid abandonment. And here's a question to reflect on. Are you clinging to someone because you genuinely want to share life with them, or because your inner child fears losing love itself? Recognizing attachment is the first step to transforming it. The second step is understanding its root cause. Healing your inner child. The inner child is the voice behind the fear, the longing, the need to control or cling. By acknowledging and comforting this part of yourself, you can begin to release the grip of attachment. Here's how that can look in practice. Acknowledge your inner child. When you notice yourself obsessively checking messages or feeling anxious, pause. Ask yourself, which part of me is afraid right now? Often, it's your inner child seeking reassurance. Validate their feelings. Say to yourself, it's okay to feel this way. You wanted love and attention, and it hurt when it wasn't given. You are safe now. Provide what you were missing. Instead of relying on your twin flame to fill the gap, offer it to yourself. Spend time on self-care, pursue passions, nurture friendships, or practice mindfulness. Set healthy boundaries. Attachment thrives when boundaries are weak or non-existent. Recognize your limits, honor your needs, and don't compromise your emotional health for the sake of clinging. Here's a metaphor to help. Imagine you are holding a rope that connects you to your twin flame. Attachment is when you grip the rope so tightly that your hands hurt, your arms ache, and you can barely move. Blind hope makes you tighten your grip even more, fearing what will happen if you let go. Healing your inner child is like loosening your grip just enough to regain mobility, awareness, and choice, so you can hold the rope when it serves you, but also let go when it doesn't. The most empowering realization is this. Your twin flame connection can be beautiful and profound, but only when your attachment patterns are recognized and healed. Until then, the intensity, the longing, and the suffering are often reflections of your inner child's unmet needs, not necessarily the reality of the relationship. So, let me leave you with a question to ponder. What would it feel like to stop clinging, not because you stop loving, but because you are giving love to yourself first? Imagine a world where you still experience the deep connection with your twin flame, but without the anxiety, the obsessive checking, or the fear of abandonment. Imagine allowing love to flow naturally, like water in a river, rather than trying to hold it like a lifeline. That is the power of healing attachment through inner child work. Remember, clinging may feel like love, but love is freedom. By understanding the roots of your attachment, nurturing your inner child, and practicing self-love, you can transform clinging into connection. You can break the cycle of pain, move beyond anxiety, and prepare yourself for a twin flame relationship that nourishes, rather than confines. Attachment is not something to shame yourself for. It's a survival mechanism that once protected you. But now, as an adult, you have the power to recognize it, work with it, and gradually release the grip that keeps you trapped in suffering. And in doing so, you are not just freeing yourself. You are healing the part of your inner child that has been waiting for decades to feel safe, seen, and loved. Have you ever stayed in a situation clinging to someone or something, even when you knew deep down it was harming you? Perhaps your heart is screaming that it's time to step away, yet your mind, or more accurately your inner child, is screaming back, I can't let go. If I do, I will lose love forever. This is the fear of letting go, a phenomenon that sits at the heart of many twin flame connections. It's an intense, often invisible, force that binds you to the familiar pain of waiting, longing, and hoping, because letting go feels like abandoning the very part of yourself that still longs to be loved. The root of the fear. To understand why letting go is so terrifying, we need to revisit the inner child. Think about it. Your inner child learned early that love could be inconsistent, that attention could be fleeting, and that safety was conditional. Perhaps there were moments when a parent left without explanation, or a caregiver's love felt uncertain. Maybe affection was only given as a reward for achievements, or perhaps your emotional needs were dismissed entirely. This child internalized a belief: if I let go, I might never get love again. And that belief doesn't magically disappear just because you're an adult now. When you meet your twin flame, this wounded child sees a chance for the love it has been starving for. But it also whispers a warning: if I release this, I could lose the only chance at love I've ever had. This fear is not irrational. It's survival-based. The inner child equates letting go with abandonment, with loss, and with deep emotional pain. And because the stakes feel existential, the child's instinct is to hold on at all costs, even if doing so perpetuates suffering. The anatomy of fear in twin flame relationships. Let's break down what this fear looks like in practical terms. 1. Clinging despite inconsistency. You stay in the connection even when your twin flame is distant, non-communicative, or emotionally unavailable. 2. Rationalizing hurtful behavior. You convince yourself that their absences, delays, or rejections are temporary, inevitable, or part of spiritual growth. 3. Overinvestment of emotional energy. You expend massive amounts of mental and emotional energy trying to fix the connection or make it work, even when signs suggest otherwise. 4. Avoidance of closure. You resist endings, goodbyes, or boundaries because the thought of finality triggers anxiety, panic, or sadness. In essence, your fear of letting go is the inner child's protective mechanism running on autopilot, keeping you trapped in patterns of suffering and longing. A story of fear and clinging. Let's look at an example to make this more tangible. Meet Elena. She met her twin flame, Marcus, in a spiritual retreat. Their connection was immediate and intense, so intense that it felt like fate. But Marcus had a complicated life: emotional baggage, personal challenges, and inconsistent communication patterns. Whenever Marcus would disappear for days or weeks, Elena's heart would race. Panic and sadness would set in. She thought, if I let go, I'll never feel this love again. If I leave, he'll disappear forever and I'll be alone. Even when friends advised her to focus on herself, or when her own intuition warned that Marcus might not reciprocate fully, Elena couldn't release him. The fear of losing him, and more importantly, the love her inner child associated with safety, was too powerful. This fear kept her in a cycle. She would get moments of closeness, feel euphoric, then endure periods of absence or uncertainty, and the pattern repeated endlessly. Each moment of separation reinforced her belief that letting go equaled abandonment. The illusion of control. One of the most insidious aspects of fear is that it creates a false sense of control. You tell yourself, if I just hold on, I can influence the outcome. If I stay, love will come back to me. But here's the truth. Holding on doesn't guarantee love. It only guarantees prolonged attachment and suffering. Your inner child is essentially bargaining with reality. If I keep waiting and holding on, maybe I can prevent loss. Maybe I can finally get the love I've been missing. Unfortunately, this strategy rarely works. The fear-driven grip keeps you in the same emotional patterns, often for months or even years. Recognizing the signs. The first step to breaking free from the fear of letting go is recognition. Here are some signs that fear is keeping you tethered. You feel anxious or panicked at the thought of ending communication with your twin flame. You excuse repeated emotional neglect, absences, or mixed signals. Your self-worth feels dependent on their attention or affection. You replay what-if scenarios in your mind endlessly, imagining every possible consequence of letting go. Ask yourself, am I staying because I love them, or because my inner child fears being abandoned again? The inner child and the fear of loss. Here's the crucial point. Your fear is not random. It is deeply connected to your inner child's unmet needs. This child is seeking reassurance, validation, and safety. And until you consciously address these needs, the fear of letting go will remain a persistent force in your life. Think of your inner child as a wounded animal. When threatened, it hides, clings, or fights to survive. Your adult mind might know that releasing the twin flame is the healthiest choice, but the inner child's instinct is stronger. It prioritizes survival over logic. Shifting the perspective. So, how do you start to overcome this fear? The solution is not about forcing yourself to detach immediately, but rather healing and nurturing your inner child, so the fear of loss loses its grip. Here's how that looks in practice. 1. Acknowledge the fear. Notice when your anxiety spikes. Recognize that this fear is rooted in old wounds, not necessarily the reality of your current relationship. 2. Comfort your inner child. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and imagine holding your younger self. Offer reassurance. You are safe now. You are loved. You don't have to cling to anyone to feel worthy. 3. Reframe attachment as a choice, not necessity. Understand that releasing someone doesn't mean abandoning love. It means prioritizing your emotional well-being and setting the stage for authentic, balanced connection. 4. Practice small acts of letting go. Start with minor boundaries like taking breaks from messaging, limiting social media checking, or redirecting your focus toward self-care. These small acts build confidence in your ability to be okay without clinging. 5. Build self-worth internally. Your inner child needs reassurance, but the source of that reassurance must come from you. Affirmations, journaling, meditation, or reconnecting with hobbies and passions all reinforce internal validation. A metaphor to understand letting go. Imagine your fear of letting go as a tightly knotted rope. You've been holding onto it for years, believing that releasing it would mean falling into an abyss. But in reality, letting go doesn't mean falling. It means stepping onto solid ground that you didn't realize was there all along. That ground is your own sense of self-worth, your own love, and your own emotional freedom. When you gradually loosen your grip on the rope, you begin to feel the weight lift. You discover that love doesn't have to be tethered to another person's actions. It can flow freely, starting from within you. The transformational power of letting go. The act of releasing your fear is not about giving up on love. It is about reclaiming your power and agency. When you no longer operate from fear, you make choices from clarity and self-respect. You stop perpetuating cycles of suffering and longing, and you begin to experience relationships and life itself from a place of empowerment. Ask yourself, what would my life feel like if I could let go of the fear and simply allow love to exist without conditions? Imagine the freedom. Imagine engaging with your twin flame or any potential love in a way that feels light, healthy, and joyful, rather than desperate, anxious, and draining. This is not a fantasy. It is a possibility that begins with nurturing your inner child, confronting your fears, and practicing letting go in small, intentional ways. Closing reflection. Fear of letting go is one of the most common reasons people remain stuck in painful twin flame dynamics. It's a force born from the inner child's unmet needs, and it masquerades as love, loyalty, or spiritual devotion. But recognizing it, understanding it, and responding with compassion and self-love allows you to break the cycle. Every time you acknowledge the fear and choose to care for your inner child, you reclaim a piece of yourself that has been waiting, yearning, and hurting for far too long. And in doing so, you not only prepare for healthier connections with others, you prepare to experience the true essence of love: freedom, joy, and mutual respect. By now, you've begun to see the pattern. Blind hope keeps you waiting. Attachment keeps you clinging. Fear of letting go keeps you paralyzed. But when these forces combine, they form something far more insidious: a painful loop. This is the cycle that keeps many twin flame seekers trapped for months, sometimes even years, repeating the same emotional highs and lows without realizing it. So what exactly is this loop? And why is it so difficult to break? Understanding the painful loop. The painful loop is a repetitive cycle of longing, hope, disappointment, and suffering. It usually follows this pattern. 1. A surge of hope. Your twin flame sends a message, gives attention, or shows signs of connection. Your heart soars, your inner child feels momentarily seen and loved. 2. Emotional dependence. You begin to attach emotionally, investing more energy, thought, and expectation into the connection. You may start imagining futures or scenarios that aren't yet real. 3. Inconsistency or withdrawal. For reasons often beyond your control, your twin flame becomes distant or unavailable. The intensity of the connection drops. 4. Pain and longing. You feel rejection, abandonment, or fear. Your inner child's wounds are triggered, validating the belief that love is fleeting and unsafe. 5. Clinging and rationalization. Instead of releasing, you cling tighter. You rationalize the behavior, telling yourself it's spiritual growth, testing love, or fate. 6. Renewed hope. Then, when connection resumes, the cycle starts again. Emotional highs reinforce the attachment, while emotional lows intensify the fear and suffering. This loop is painful precisely because it's self-reinforcing. Each cycle strengthens the neural and emotional pathways in your brain, making it easier to repeat next time. The brain starts to crave the highs and the lows, much like an addiction, while your inner child experiences both the temporary reassurance and the recurring fear of loss. Why the loop feels inevitable? You might wonder, why do I keep falling into the same pattern? Why can't I just step away? The answer lies in the wounded inner child. As we discussed in previous sections, this child learned early that love is conditional, inconsistent, or hard to maintain. So every moment of hope is a reminder that love might be attainable, and every moment of pain confirms that love is fragile and fleeting. This duality creates an emotional pendulum. You swing between euphoria and despair, hope and fear, connection and withdrawal. And the very act of swinging reinforces the pattern. It feels familiar, even though it causes suffering. Here's an important point. The loop is not your fault. It's a learned pattern, deeply ingrained in your psyche. But here's the empowering truth. It can be broken once you recognize its components and address the root causes. A real-life example. Consider Liam, a young man in his early 30s. He met his twin flame, Arya, through a mutual creative community. From the first conversation, there was an undeniable spark. They would spend hours talking, sharing personal stories, and envisioning a future together. But Arya's life was complicated. She had past traumas, family obligations, and a naturally introverted personality that made her pull away frequently. Every time Liam experienced a withdrawal from Arya, his inner child screamed, "Abandoned again. I'm not worthy. I'll never be loved." This fear triggered obsessive checking of messages, overthinking, and fantasizing about reconciliation. When Arya returned with attention or affection, Liam felt an intense rush of joy, almost addictive in nature. His brain began to associate her presence with emotional reward, and her absence with emotional punishment. Over months, he found himself trapped in this cycle. Hope, attachment, fear, clinging, pain, and brief relief, over and over. This is the painful loop in action. Notice how it is driven by unresolved inner child wounds, not by the objective reality of the relationship. Liam's suffering was real, but it was amplified by his own patterns of attachment and fear. Questions to help you reflect. To see if you're caught in a similar loop, ask yourself, do I feel anxious when my twin flame is not communicating with me? Do I often forgive or rationalize behaviors that hurt me, just to maintain the connection? Do I imagine scenarios or a future that doesn't yet exist, hoping they will make me happy? Do I feel a recurring pattern of emotional highs and lows whenever I interact with my twin flame? If the answer is yes, then it's likely that your inner child is driving the loop, and your emotional suffering is not purely about the other person. It's about unhealed patterns within you. How to begin breaking the loop? Breaking the painful loop requires conscious awareness, self-compassion, and active engagement with your inner child. Here are steps to begin this transformation. 1. Identify your triggers. Notice what moments or behaviors from your twin flame trigger the intense emotional highs or lows. Awareness is the first step toward change. 2. Observe without judgment. Instead of reacting immediately to the trigger, pause. Take a deep breath. Observe your emotional response without labeling it as right or wrong. 3. Connect with your inner child. Visualize your younger self experiencing similar fear or longing. Offer them reassurance. You are safe. You are loved. You don't need to cling to anyone to feel whole. 4. Shift focus inward. Engage in activities that nourish you, creative projects, hobbies, self-care routines, or mindfulness practices. When your energy is directed inward, the intensity of the loop begins to dissipate. 5. Practice healthy boundaries. Begin establishing limits that protect your emotional well-being. This might mean reducing excessive messaging, taking breaks from social media, or limiting your time spent thinking about the twin flame. 6. Replace clinging with conscious hope. Hope is natural, but blind hope is painful. Shift to empowered hope. You can hope for connection without depending on it for your survival. You can desire love without losing yourself in longing. A metaphor for understanding the loop. Think of the painful loop like a hamster wheel. The hamster runs tirelessly, expending enormous energy, but never moves forward. Blind hope, attachment, and fear of letting go fuel the wheel. To escape, the hamster doesn't need to run faster, it needs to step off the wheel. Stepping off the wheel is not easy. It can trigger anxiety, uncertainty, and fear. But each small step toward awareness, self-love, and inner child healing loosens the cycle. Over time, you move from being trapped on the wheel to walking freely on solid ground, where love is experienced consciously and without unnecessary suffering. The transformational perspective. The painful loop is not just suffering, it's also a guide. It signals where your inner child is still wounded, what patterns you've been repeating, and what emotional needs have been unmet. Each cycle of longing and pain is an opportunity to learn, to heal, and to reclaim your emotional autonomy. Ask yourself, what does my inner child need from me right now to feel safe and loved? What can I do to break this cycle of suffering without abandoning myself? When you answer these questions honestly and take steps to meet your inner child's needs, the loop begins to loosen. You start to experience love, not as a source of pain or fear, but as a conscious, balanced, and joyful connection. Closing reflection. The painful loop is not a curse, it's a mirror. It reflects back to you the unresolved wounds, fears, and needs of your inner child. By recognizing the loop, naming its components, and actively engaging in self-care and healing, you can break free from cycles of longing, attachment, and fear. The moment you step off the hamster wheel of the painful loop, you reclaim your power, you reclaim your heart, and you prepare yourself, not just for a healthier connection with your twin flame, but for the profound, nurturing, and conscious love that has been waiting for you all along. The love that begins within yourself. If you've been following this journey so far, you now understand how blind hope, attachment, and fear of letting go can combine to create a painful loop. You know how your inner child's unhealed wounds drive your emotions, keeping you trapped in cycles of longing, anxiety, and suffering. The good news? You can break free. Escaping the loop isn't about ignoring your feelings or abandoning the connection. It's about healing, awareness, and conscious action. In this section, we'll explore practical steps to free yourself from the cycle and reclaim your emotional power. Step 1. Awareness. Shine a light on your patterns. The first step to breaking free is awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. Begin by observing your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in your twin flame dynamic. Ask yourself questions like, when do I feel anxious or desperate? What triggers obsessive thoughts about my twin flame? How does my inner child react when they are distant or inconsistent? Am I hoping for love from them, or trying to fill the void within myself? Example: Sarah noticed that every time her twin flame, Daniel, didn't reply immediately, she spiraled into overthinking and self-criticism. By simply noticing the pattern without judgment, she began to separate her emotional reaction from the situation. Awareness is the first key step to breaking the cycle. Tip: journaling can help. Write down your emotions, triggers, and recurring thoughts. Seeing the pattern on paper gives you clarity and prevents unconscious repetition. Step 2. Acknowledge and nurture your inner child. Your inner child is at the heart of the painful loop. This part of you carries old wounds of abandonment, fear, and conditional love. To break free, you must acknowledge and nurture it. Here's a simple practice. 1. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. 2. Visualize your younger self, the child who first experienced lack, neglect, or conditional love. 3. Imagine holding them gently, offering comfort. You are safe. You are loved. You don't need to cling to anyone to feel worthy. 4. Allow yourself to feel compassion for this part of you. Example: when James visualized his inner child after weeks of obsessively checking messages from his twin flame, he realized that it wasn't Daniel who caused his suffering. It was his own unmet need for reassurance and safety. By nurturing that child internally, he gradually loosened the grip of fear and attachment. Tip: you can also write a letter to your inner child. acknowledging their pain and reassuring them that you are there to protect and love them. Step 3. Create healthy boundaries. Boundaries are essential to breaking the loop. Without them, your inner child remains exposed, and your emotional energy continues to revolve around the twin flame dynamic. Consider these strategies. Limit obsessive checking of messages or social media. Set time aside for personal growth, hobbies, or friendships. Communicate your needs clearly, but don't rely on the other person to validate your worth. Take breaks when the connection triggers anxiety or fear. Example: Lily realized she spent hours analyzing texts and social media updates from her twin flame. She set a boundary: no checking messages during work or before sleep. At first, it was uncomfortable, but soon she noticed a reduction in anxiety and a stronger connection to herself. Question to ponder: if I stopped giving all my energy to this connection, what positive space would open up in my life? Step 4. Transform blind hope into conscious hope. Hope is not the enemy. It becomes the enemy only when it is blind. Transforming blind hope into conscious hope means you desire love without being dependent on external validation. How to practice conscious hope. 1. Recognize the difference between longing and expectation. Longing is natural. Expectation creates suffering. 2. Reframe your mindset. I hope for connection, but my worth does not depend on it. 3. Focus on self-love and fulfillment, allowing hope to exist without attachment to outcome. Example: when Mia shifted her mindset, she still cherished moments with her twin flame, but she no longer felt desperate or anxious. Hope became a choice, not a trap. Step 5. Mindfulness and emotional regulation. Mindfulness is a powerful tool to disrupt the loop. It allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without being consumed by them. Techniques include meditation. Sit quietly, observe your breath, and notice thoughts about your twin flame without judgment. Body scan. Identify areas of tension caused by attachment or fear and consciously relax them. Pause before reacting. When an emotion spikes, pause and ask, is this my inner child reacting, or is this reality? Example: Alex used a 10-minute daily meditation to notice when obsessive thoughts about his twin flame arose. He realized that most of his suffering came from projection and old emotional wounds, not the reality of the connection. Tip: mindfulness reduces compulsive behaviors like constant messaging, overanalyzing, and emotional reactivity. Step 6. Engage in self-love and self-validation. The most effective way to escape the painful loop is to meet your own emotional needs. Your inner child has been waiting for validation and love for years. Start giving it to them yourself. Practical steps. Spend time doing things that bring joy and fulfillment. Celebrate small victories and achievements. Practice affirmations. I am enough. I am worthy of love. I am safe and complete on my own. Surround yourself with supportive people who respect your boundaries. Example: when Emma began prioritizing her hobbies and reconnecting with friends instead of obsessing over her twin flame, she noticed the emotional loop started weakening. Her feelings were still present, but they no longer controlled her. Step 7. Seek support if needed. Breaking free from deep-seated patterns can be challenging. Consider therapy. A professional can help uncover childhood wounds and attachment patterns. Support groups. Connecting with others who have experienced twin flame dynamics can normalize your experiences. Mentorship or coaching. Guidance from someone familiar with emotional healing can accelerate your growth. Remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Step 8. Embrace patience and compassion. Healing is a process, not an instant fix. You may still experience longing, hope, or attachment. This is normal. The key is patience and self-compassion. Celebrate small steps, even moments of awareness or self-control. Don't judge yourself for recurring feelings. They are part of the healing journey. Visualize your inner child gradually feeling safer, calmer, and more loved. Example: Lucas had repeated cycles of hope and disappointment with his twin flame. Over time, with consistent practice of self-love and boundaries, he noticed the intensity of the loop decreased. Healing is cumulative, not instantaneous. Step 9. Reconnect with your own life purpose. One of the most effective ways to break free is to shift your focus from the twin flame to yourself and your life purpose. What passions or dreams have I neglected? How can I invest my energy into my growth rather than external validation? What brings me joy, fulfillment, and meaning independent of another person? When you reconnect with your purpose, the loop loses its grip. Your inner child feels secure because your happiness no longer depends entirely on someone else. Example: when Nina focused on her art and personal goals, the intensity of her twin flame attachment decreased naturally. She could experience love without losing herself in longing. Step 10. Integrate and transform. Finally, integrate the lessons from each step. Awareness plus inner child healing equals clarity about your patterns. Boundaries plus self-love equals emotional autonomy. Mindfulness plus conscious hope equals balanced connection. Patience plus purpose equals freedom from suffering. When combined, these practices allow you to transform the painful loop into conscious, empowered living. Your twin flame may remain in your life, or they may not. But either way, your inner child is safe, your heart is whole, and your love is no longer a trap. Breaking free from the twin flame painful loop is about reclaiming your power, autonomy, and emotional health. It's about nurturing your inner child, transforming blind hope into conscious hope, and choosing yourself without guilt or fear. Ask yourself, am I willing to step off the hamster wheel and walk freely toward love, clarity, and self-respect? The moment you take that step, the painful loop begins to dissolve. You no longer chase love out of fear. You attract love through authenticity, self-awareness, and inner strength. And most importantly, you discover the love you've been seeking all along. The love that lives within you. Understanding the concepts of blind hope, attachment, fear of letting go, and the painful loop is powerful, but sometimes theory alone isn't enough. Real-life examples help us see how these dynamics play out, and more importantly, how people successfully navigate them. In this section, we'll explore several case studies, illustrating how inner child wounds manifest in twin flame relationships, and how conscious steps can break the cycle. Case Study 1. Emma and Liam. Overcoming emotional dependency. Emma and Liam met at a spiritual retreat and immediately felt a deep connection. The first few weeks were intense. Long conversations, shared vulnerabilities, and a sense of soul recognition. But soon, Liam noticed that his emotional state was completely tied to Emma's behavior. Problem: Liam was constantly checking for messages, feeling anxious when Emma was silent. His inner child, triggered by past feelings of neglect, demanded reassurance and attention. Manifestation of the painful loop. Each time Emma reached out, Liam felt euphoric. Each time she withdrew, he experienced panic and despair. Over weeks, he realized he was repeating the same emotional pattern with every intense relationship he had ever had. Solution: Liam began journaling his emotional triggers and connecting with his inner child. He practiced self-validation, reminding himself that his worth did not depend on Emma's attention. He set healthy boundaries, limiting his messaging and giving himself space to process emotions. Result: within a few months, Liam noticed the emotional loop weakening. He could engage with Emma consciously, enjoying her presence without feeling desperate or anxious. His inner child felt safer, and his need for external validation diminished. Lesson: emotional dependency often masquerades as love, but when addressed through inner child work and healthy boundaries, it transforms into conscious connection. Case Study 2. Sophia. Letting go without losing love. Sophia had been waiting for her twin flame Marcus for over 2 years. Each reunion brought emotional highs. Each separation brought despair. She found herself clinging to every word and action, fearing that letting go would mean losing him forever. Problem: blind hope and fear of letting go dominated Sophia's emotional landscape. Her inner child associated love with survival. Releasing Marcus felt like abandoning herself. Turning point: after recognizing her pattern, Sophia started separating hope from expectation. She visualized her inner child, reassuring it that love could exist even if she wasn't consumed by longing. She focused on her career and personal passions, creating a life she loved independently. Practice: Sophia began conscious hope. She could hope for Marcus without letting it control her emotions. She practiced mindfulness, noticing feelings of longing without reacting impulsively. She allowed herself to experience connection when Marcus reached out but did not chase him. Outcome: over time, Sophia felt emotionally free. The intensity of her suffering diminished, and when she connected with Marcus, it was joyful and balanced rather than desperate or anxious. She realized that letting go was not losing love. It was claiming love for herself first. Lesson: letting go doesn't mean abandoning love. It means breaking free from fear and reclaiming emotional sovereignty. Case Study 3: Jason breaking the cycle of obsessive thinking. Jason's twin flame, Amelia, had an inconsistent communication pattern. Some days she was warm and present, other days distant and unresponsive. Jason found himself obsessing over texts, replaying conversations, and imagining scenarios that caused anxiety. Problem: obsessive thinking and emotional highs and lows were reinforced by unhealed inner child wounds. Each cycle strengthened the painful loop. Solution: Jason incorporated mindfulness into his daily routine. He meditated for 10 to 15 minutes each morning, observing intrusive thoughts without judgment. He journaled feelings of longing, anxiety, and hope, separating his inner child's fears from reality. He practiced small acts of letting go, like stepping away from the phone or limiting social media checking. Result: within a month, Jason noticed a dramatic shift. Thoughts of Amelia still occurred, but they no longer dictated his emotional state. He felt more grounded, present, and capable of enjoying moments with Amelia without clinging or fear. Lesson: mindfulness and small, conscious acts of detachment can weaken obsessive patterns and interrupt the painful loop. Case Study 4: Mia and the Transformation Through Purpose. Mia's connection with her twin flame, Leo, was intense but inconsistent. She spent years trapped in cycles of hope and despair, constantly analyzing his behavior and wishing he would be more consistent. Problem: Mia's suffering stemmed from a combination of attachment, fear of letting go, and an overfocus on the twin flame connection at the expense of her life purpose. Turning point: Mia realized that the emotional loop thrived because she had neglected her own growth and passions. She began dedicating time to painting, volunteering, and developing new skills. She connected with friends and family for emotional support. Practice: by focusing on her purpose and self-fulfillment, Mia reduced her emotional dependency on Leo. She still experienced love and connection, but the intensity of longing no longer controlled her. Outcome: over several months, Mia's inner child felt nurtured and secure. The painful loop broke naturally, and her connection with Leo became more balanced and joyful. Lesson: reconnecting with life purpose and self-fulfillment diminishes the grip of attachment and fear, allowing healthier, conscious connections. Case Study 5: Group Example Shared Patterns and Lessons. Across multiple twin flame cases, certain patterns repeat. 1. Intensity triggers old wounds. High emotional intensity activates inner child fears of abandonment or inadequacy. 2. Painful loops are self-reinforcing. Cycles of hope and disappointment create neural pathways that perpetuate obsession. 3. Healing requires multi-layered work. Awareness, inner child nurturing, healthy boundaries, mindfulness, and self-love all work together to dissolve the loop. 4. Conscious hope replaces blind hope. When hope is intentional rather than fear-driven, it allows connection without suffering. 5. Self-empowerment is key. Emotional independence, life purpose, and internal validation are the strongest tools for escaping suffering. These examples show that while twin flame connections can feel overwhelmingly intense, the suffering is often a reflection of unhealed patterns within ourselves. The transformation doesn't depend on changing the other person. It depends on healing and reclaiming your own emotional power. Reflection questions for the viewer. As you watch these examples, consider: which parts of these stories resonate with my own experience? Where is my inner child seeking validation or safety through my twin flame connection? What patterns of hope, attachment, or fear am I repeating? How can I begin nurturing myself and establishing boundaries today? These reflections help you move from passive suffering to active healing, step by step. The real power of these examples is in showing that change is possible. People who once felt trapped in obsessive longing, fear, and attachment can, through conscious action, break the loop, heal their inner child, and experience love without suffering. Remember, twin flame connections are mirrors. They reflect both the beauty of connection and the wounds that remain unresolved. The key is not to avoid these reflections but to learn from them, nurture your inner child, and reclaim emotional sovereignty. By seeing real-life examples, you can recognize your own patterns and gain confidence that transformation is achievable. Your inner child can finally feel safe, and your heart can experience love as it was meant to be. Conscious, balanced, and freeing. Understanding your patterns and seeing real-life examples is powerful, but transformation only happens when you practice consistently. Healing your inner child, reducing attachment, and breaking free from the twin flame painful loop require daily exercises and practical techniques. In this section, we'll explore actionable strategies you can incorporate into your everyday life to reclaim your emotional freedom. Exercise 1. Daily Inner Child Connection. Your inner child is the root of many emotional patterns in twin flame dynamics. Daily connection strengthens your self-awareness and nurtures emotional safety. Practice. 1. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes each day in a quiet space. 2. Close your eyes, take deep breaths, and visualize your younger self, the child within you who first felt abandoned, unloved, or insecure. 3. Speak gently to your inner child, offering reassurance. I see you. I hear you. You are safe now. You are loved just as you are. 4. Allow yourself to feel the emotions that arise without judgment. Cry, smile, or simply sit with your child if needed. 5. End by imagining wrapping your inner child in love and protection. Example: Sarah began doing this every morning. She noticed that whenever she felt anxious about her twin flame, her inner child's voice would surface. By connecting with it daily, the fear of abandonment gradually decreased, and her emotional reactions became calmer. Tip: you can journal after each session, noting what emotions came up and how your inner child responded. Exercise 2. Mindful observation of thoughts. One of the most powerful tools for breaking the painful loop is mindfulness. Many twin flame sufferers get caught in obsessive thinking, analyzing texts, imagining futures, or replaying past interactions. Mindfulness helps you observe without reacting. Practice. 1. Find a quiet moment, ideally 5 to 15 minutes. 2. Sit comfortably and focus on your breath. 3. Notice when thoughts about your twin flame arise. Instead of chasing or suppressing them, label them. This is my inner child feeling anxious. 4. Observe the thought, then gently return to your breath. 5. Repeat throughout the day whenever obsessive thinking arises. Example: Jason from Part 7 practiced 10 minutes of mindfulness daily. He learned to notice when his mind spiraled into fear or longing. Over time, he became able to enjoy interactions with his twin flame without becoming emotionally consumed. Tip: apps like Headspace or Calm can guide beginners in mindfulness meditation. Exercise 3. Conscious hope versus blind hope. Hope is natural, but blind hope keeps you trapped. Transforming it into conscious hope allows you to desire love without attachment or fear. Practice. 1. Write down what you hope for in your twin flame connection. 2. Separate your hope from expectations or fear. Do I hope for this because it fulfills me, or because my inner child fears loss? 3. Reframe your hope as a choice, not a necessity. I hope for connection, but my happiness does not depend on it. 4. Repeat this affirmation daily, especially during moments of longing or anxiety. Example: Mia shifted from clinging to conscious hope. She could still feel excitement when connecting with her twin flame, but no longer spiraled into fear or obsession. Exercise 4. Emotional journaling. Writing down emotions is a simple yet transformative practice. It helps you externalize your feelings, identify patterns, and separate inner child fears from reality. Practice. 1. Each day, write for 10 to 15 minutes about your emotions. 2. Include sections like, what triggered me today? How did my inner child react? How did I respond consciously? What can I do to nurture myself now? 3. Review your journal weekly to notice patterns and progress. Example: Emma realized that most of her suffering was triggered by her inner child's need for reassurance. Journaling helped her distinguish between genuine connection and old emotional patterns. Exercise 5. Setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. Boundaries protect your emotional well-being and prevent re-entering the painful loop. Practice. 1. Identify situations where your emotions are hijacked by your twin flame, e.g., constant texting, social media monitoring, or waiting for attention. 2. Set clear limits. Examples: no checking messages during meals or before bed. Limit time spent thinking about the connection. Pause or step back when emotional intensity rises. 3. Communicate boundaries if necessary, calmly and without guilt. 4. Reinforce boundaries daily, reminding your inner child that safety comes from within. Example: Lily reduced obsessive messaging and social media checking. At first it caused discomfort, but over time she felt calmer, more grounded, and less reactive. Exercise 6. Self-love practices. Healing your inner child requires consistent acts of self-love. Self-love rebuilds your emotional independence and reduces attachment. Practice. 1. Make a daily list of things you enjoy and dedicate time to them: creative projects, exercise, cooking, reading, or meditation. 2. Affirm your worth. I am enough. I am whole. I am deserving of love. 3. Celebrate small victories. Personal growth counts as progress. 4. Surround yourself with supportive people who respect your boundaries and uplift you. Example: Alex invested time in painting and reconnecting with friends. He noticed the obsessive cycle with his twin flame weakened, and his inner child felt seen and nurtured. Exercise 7. Visualization and future self practice. Visualization helps you align with the emotionally empowered version of yourself. Practice. 1. Close your eyes and imagine your life free from the painful loop. 2. Visualize interacting with your twin flame, or life in general, with calm, confidence, and joy. 3. Notice how your inner child feels in this scenario: safe, valued, and loved. 4. Carry this vision with you as a daily guide for choices and actions. Example: Sophia visualized herself enjoying life independently, connecting with her twin flame only when balanced and conscious. Over time, she began to embody this future self in real life. Exercise 8. Gratitude and reframing. Gratitude shifts focus from lack to abundance and reduces fear-driven attachment. Practice. 1. Each day list 5 things you are grateful for, preferably related to your emotional growth or personal life. 2. Reframe challenges. This situation is helping me heal my inner child and become stronger. 3. Use gratitude to remind your inner child that love and security can exist independently. Example: James shifted his focus from what he lacked in his twin flame connection to what he had in friendships, creativity, and personal growth. This reframing reduced his suffering and strengthened emotional resilience. Exercise 9. Small acts of letting go. Breaking the loop doesn't happen all at once. Start with small, intentional acts of detachment. Step away from conversations that trigger anxiety. Take a day or two offline from social media related to your twin flame. Engage in a new activity or hobby instead of ruminating. Example: Jason practiced 30-minute breaks each day from obsessing over his twin flame. Initially uncomfortable, these small acts gradually retrained his brain, weakening the loop. Exercise 10. Integration and reflection. Finally, integrate your practices. Combine mindfulness, inner child work, journaling, boundaries, and self-love into a daily routine. Reflect each week. How have I changed? Where am I still reactive? What is my inner child teaching me? Adjust practices as needed, remembering that healing is cumulative, not instantaneous. Outcome: by consistently applying these exercises, you begin to experience emotional stability and independence, reduced fear of letting go, conscious hope instead of blind hope, healthier, balanced twin flame connections, or freedom from unhealthy attachment. Healing your inner child and breaking the twin flame painful loop is not a quick fix. It is a journey of self-discovery, awareness, and consistent practice. Each exercise strengthens your emotional foundation, nurtures your inner child, and gives you the tools to engage with love consciously rather than out of fear or attachment. Ask yourself, which of these practices can I commit to today to nurture my inner child and reclaim my emotional freedom? The moment you begin, you take the first step toward breaking the cycle. With persistence, patience, and self-compassion, the loop dissolves and you emerge empowered, whole, and ready to experience love in its most authentic, freeing form. As you work through healing your inner child and breaking the twin flame painful loop, it's easy to fall into common pitfalls. These traps can derail progress, reignite old patterns, and cause frustration or self-doubt. Understanding them beforehand and learning how to navigate around them empowers you to stay on the path of conscious healing. In this section, we'll explore the most frequent pitfalls, real-life examples, and actionable strategies to avoid them. Pitfall 1. Expecting instant results. One of the biggest misconceptions in twin flame healing is believing that change will happen overnight. Many seekers start exercises like mindfulness, journaling, or inner child work, and when emotional reactions persist, they feel frustrated or doubt the process. Why it happens? Healing is cumulative, not instantaneous. Deeply ingrained patterns, formed over years of conditioning, require repeated, consistent practice to rewire. Example: Mia began inner child visualization and journaling daily, but expected her anxiety to disappear within a week. When she still felt intense longing after 10 days, she panicked and stopped practicing. The painful loop reasserted itself, reinforcing old fears. Solution: embrace patience. Remind yourself that even small progress, like noticing triggers without reacting, is significant. Celebrate incremental changes. Every moment you choose self-love over blind hope strengthens your emotional independence. Question to reflect on: am I expecting instant transformation, or can I honor the gradual nature of healing? Pitfall 2. Confusing attachment with spiritual connection. Another common pitfall is mistaking obsessive attachment for a genuine twin flame connection. It's easy to justify clinging by telling yourself, this must be spiritual growth, or it's meant to be. Why it happens? Emotional intensity triggers inner child wounds, creating the illusion of deep connection. Fear of loss convinces the mind that clinging is necessary for love. Example: Jason spent months obsessing over every text and interaction with his twin flame. He rationalized his behavior as spiritual alignment, but in reality his patterns reflected dependency and fear, not conscious love. Solution: examine your motives. Are you seeking connection out of joy or fear? Use mindfulness to separate longing from true spiritual connection. Ask, am I engaging consciously, or am I being driven by unmet needs and old wounds? Takeaway: spiritual growth should liberate, not trap you in cycles of pain. Pitfall 3. Skipping inner child work. Many seekers focus on external practices like meditation, journaling, or visualization but neglect the inner child, the root of attachment, fear, and blind hope. Why it happens? Inner child work can be uncomfortable because it forces confrontation with pain, abandonment, or unmet needs. People often want quick fixes instead of deep emotional healing. Example: Lily practiced mindfulness and boundaries, but avoided connecting with her inner child. Whenever her twin flame withdrew, she still felt anxiety and longing. She realized that external practices alone could not dissolve the old wounds driving her loop. Solution: prioritize inner child healing alongside other practices. Use daily exercises like visualizations, self-soothing affirmations, and journaling specifically to nurture and validate your younger self. Question to reflect on: am I treating symptoms or am I addressing the root of my suffering? Pitfall 4. Over-identifying with your pain. It's common to define yourself by your suffering, telling yourself, "I can't be happy without this connection," or "I am broken because of this longing." This mindset strengthens the painful loop. Why it happens? The inner child craves validation, and focusing on suffering feels familiar and safe. Emotional intensity can become addictive, reinforcing the loop instead of breaking it. Example: Emma used to replay painful interactions with her twin flame for hours. The suffering became part of her identity, making it hard to step into conscious love and self-soothing practices. Solution: observe emotions without absorbing them into your identity. Affirm: I feel this, but it does not define me. I am whole regardless of external circumstances. Focus on empowerment and self-love. Takeaway: feeling pain is normal, but over-identifying with it prolongs suffering unnecessarily. Pitfall 5. Neglecting life outside the twin flame connection. Many people become so consumed by twin flame dynamics that they neglect personal growth, hobbies, and relationships. This reinforces dependence and attachment. Why it happens? Emotional intensity can hijack attention and energy. The inner child seeks validation, making external life feel secondary. Example: Sophia realized she had stopped painting, socializing, and pursuing personal goals because she was focused entirely on her twin flame. Her loop persisted because her emotional needs were met only through connection, not self-fulfillment. Solution: reinvest in your passions, career, friendships, and life purpose. Set aside time each day for activities that bring joy independent of your twin flame. Notice how redirecting energy reduces obsessive thinking and strengthens emotional independence. Question to reflect on: am I living my life fully, or am I waiting for my twin flame to complete me? Pitfall 6. Misusing spiritual practices. While meditation, visualization, and affirmations are valuable, they can become pitfalls if misused to avoid emotions or escape reality. Why it happens? Spiritual tools can become distractions from inner healing. Seeking quick spiritual fixes reinforces avoidance and prevents genuine transformation. Example: James practiced meditation daily, but used it to push away longing instead of observing and addressing it. His inner child's needs remained unmet, and the painful loop continued. Solution: use spiritual practices intentionally, not as avoidance. Combine them with inner child work, journaling, and self-reflection. Face emotions consciously rather than suppressing them. Takeaway: healing requires courage, not just spiritual techniques. Pitfall 7. Comparing your journey to others. Social media, forums, and spiritual communities can lead to comparison traps, such as, "Why am I not in union yet?" or "Everyone else seems healed except me." Why it happens? Comparison triggers fear and inadequacy. The inner child feels pressure to meet unrealistic timelines, reinforcing attachment and suffering. Example: Mia spent hours on twin flame groups, comparing her connection to others. She became frustrated and anxious when her journey didn't match the norm, reigniting the painful loop. Solution: focus on your personal growth and healing. Remember that every journey is unique. Replace comparison with reflection. Where am I growing today? What lesson is my inner child learning? Pitfall 8. Fear of letting go too soon. Some seekers avoid letting go because they fear losing love. But clinging prolongs the loop. Why it happens? Inner child equates love with survival. Attachment and fear create the illusion that letting go equals loss. Example: Alex held on to constant communication, fearing that stepping back would end the connection. Only when he practiced small acts of detachment and self-validation did he experience freedom. Solution: practice conscious, gradual letting go. Remind your inner child that love exists even without obsession. Focus on empowerment. I can choose to love without needing to cling. Pitfall 9. Ignoring emotional integration. Healing requires integration, not just awareness or temporary practices. Ignoring emotional processing leads to relapse into the painful loop. Why it happens? People often practice mindfulness or journaling superficially. Unprocessed emotions stay unresolved, resurfacing later. Example: Emma practiced daily meditation but avoided journaling her fears. The loop persisted until she fully processed the emotions and nurtured her inner child. Solution: combine awareness, reflection, and emotional processing daily. Integrate insights into your mindset and behaviors. Pitfall 10. Giving up too early. Healing is not linear. There will be setbacks, emotional spikes, and difficult moments. Giving up too early ensures the loop continues indefinitely. Solution: commit to consistency. Even small steps count. Reflect on progress regularly. Practice self-compassion when setbacks occur. Takeaway: persistence is key. Transformation unfolds with patience, awareness, and conscious effort. The journey of healing your inner child and navigating twin flame dynamics is delicate and transformative. Pitfalls are natural, but awareness and proactive strategies allow you to avoid derailment and sustain progress. Ask yourself, which of these pitfalls am I currently falling into? How can I adjust my daily practices and mindset to avoid repeating the loop? Am I prioritizing my inner child, emotional independence, and self-love? By identifying and navigating these common traps, you strengthen your emotional foundation and move closer to conscious, balanced, and freeing love, whether with your twin flame or within yourself. If you followed this journey from the beginning, you now understand the deep ways in which your inner child, unhealed wounds, and patterns of attachment influence your twin flame experiences. You've learned how blind hope, fear of loss, obsessive longing, and unhealthy attachment can create a painful loop that traps your heart and mind. But the purpose of this journey isn't just understanding, it's transformation. Part 10 is about stepping fully into your power, embracing your inner healing, and moving forward with freedom, clarity, and conscious love. The moment of transformation. Transformation begins when awareness meets action. You can no longer claim innocence or blame circumstances. Your life is yours to shape. When you notice the patterns, nurture your inner child, set boundaries, and practice conscious hope, something remarkable happens. The intensity of longing diminishes. Emotional storms become manageable. You feel rooted in yourself, not in another person's actions. Your twin flame connection, if it continues, is experienced from a place of balance rather than desperation. Example: Sophia, who struggled for years in cycles of hope and despair, began consistent inner child work and mindfulness practices. She journaled her fears daily, set clear boundaries, and reconnected with her passions. Over months, she noticed her obsessive thoughts no longer dictated her mood. When she interacted with her twin flame, the moments were joyful and conscious rather than anxious or desperate. This is the essence of transformation: emotional freedom within, regardless of external circumstances. Embracing your inner child as a source of strength. One of the most powerful aspects of this transformation is reconnecting with and healing your inner child. That part of you which once sought constant reassurance now becomes a source of compassion, wisdom, and resilience. Steps to fully embrace this transformation. 1. Celebrate the inner child. Recognize that every time you chose awareness over reactivity, self-love over fear, and patience over attachment, you honored your inner child. 2. Integrate the lessons. Understand that the pain you once experienced is a reflection of unhealed needs, not a reflection of your worth. 3. Allow the inner child to guide you. Let it remind you that love is abundant, and that security and joy are found within, not in another person's presence. Example: James realized that his obsessive checking and anxiety were rooted in his inner child's fear of abandonment. By actively nurturing this child and providing internal reassurance, he gained the freedom to experience love consciously, without needing external validation. Redefining love and connection. A key part of this transformation is redefining what love means. True love, especially in the context of twin flames, is not about dependence, obsession, or control. It's about connection, growth, and mutual respect. Ask yourself, am I loving my twin flame, or am I seeking to fill a void? Can I experience joy and connection without fear or clinging? What does conscious love look like for me in this relationship? Example: Lily used to define love as constant attention and reassurance from her twin flame. Through consistent mindfulness, inner child healing, and boundaries, she realized that love can exist without obsession. She could appreciate moments of connection while maintaining her emotional independence, a shift that brought balance, peace, and true intimacy. The power of conscious hope. Throughout this journey, one of the most transformative shifts is turning blind hope into conscious hope. Blind hope is desperate, fearful, and exhausting. Conscious hope is empowering, patient, and freeing. How conscious hope transforms your life. 1. You can desire connection without needing it to validate your worth. 2. You remain open to love while staying emotionally autonomous. 3. You experience joy in the present moment rather than anxiety over future outcomes. Example: Mia shifted her mindset from, "I need this to be happy," to "I hope for this connection, but my happiness is not dependent on it." This simple yet profound reframing reduced her anxiety and allowed her to enjoy the connection without attachment. Integration. Combining awareness, healing, and action. Transformation is not a single moment, it's integration over time. The practices and insights you've learned throughout this series, inner child work, journaling, mindfulness, boundaries, conscious hope, and self-love, must be woven into your daily life. Steps for integration. 1. Morning reflection. Begin your day with 5 to 10 minutes of mindfulness or inner child connection. 2. Daily journaling. Track triggers, emotional responses, and progress. 3. Conscious choices. Set boundaries, nurture self-love, and prioritize life purpose. 4. Evening gratitude. Reflect on moments where you acted consciously rather than reactively. Example: Alex structured his daily routine around these pillars. Each day he checked in with his inner child, noticed patterns without judgment, and reinforced boundaries. Over time he felt secure, empowered, and free from the intensity of the painful loop. Facing setbacks with resilience. Even with consistent practice, setbacks are natural. Emotional spikes, longing, or fear may resurface. This is not failure. It's a part of the healing journey. Strategies to handle setbacks. Observe your reaction without self-judgment. Reconnect with your inner child. I see you and I am here for you. Reaffirm conscious hope. This feeling will pass. I am safe and whole. Take small steps back into self-love and grounding practices. Question to reflect on. Am I willing to see setbacks as lessons rather than proof of inadequacy? Celebrating your freedom. The ultimate goal of this journey is freedom. Emotional freedom, inner child healing, and the ability to experience love consciously. This freedom is not contingent on your twin flame. It's your birthright. Emotional independence. You can feel joy, peace, and fulfillment regardless of external circumstances. authentic connection. Relationships become spaces of mutual growth, rather than arenas of fear and attachment. Inner peace. Your inner child feels nurtured, validated, and safe. Example: Sophia no longer defined herself by her twin flame connection. She pursued her passions, nurtured friendships, and connected with her twin flame from a place of balance. She experienced love without fear, a state of freedom she had never imagined before. Final reflection and inspired message. Ask yourself, what patterns have I recognized and transformed in myself? How can I continue nurturing my inner child every day? Am I willing to embrace conscious love and freedom, even if it challenges old habits? The answers to these questions mark the difference between repeating the painful loop and stepping into a life of conscious love, joy, and emotional empowerment. Remember, the twin flame journey is not about possession, suffering, or desperation. It is a mirror reflecting your inner healing, self-love, and capacity to embrace life fully. The love you've been seeking externally has always existed within you. If you're ready to continue this journey, 1. Start today with one small act of inner child healing: visualization, journaling, or affirmations. 2. Commit to conscious hope. Hope without attachment, love without fear. 3. Share your growth and insights in the comments below. Your experience could inspire someone else on their twin flame journey. 4. Subscribe and follow for more tools, exercises, and real-life stories to guide your emotional healing and transformation. Your freedom is in your hands. The loops of fear, longing, and blind hope can end now. Step into your power, nurture your inner child, and embrace the love and life you deserve, whole, empowered, and free. Description: are you stuck in cycles of hope, fear, and attachment with your twin flame? Your inner child may be the key reason why. In this video, we explore how inner child wounds influence your twin flame connection, creating emotional loops that keep you longing, anxious, or obsessive. Learn practical exercises to heal your inner child, set healthy boundaries, and transform blind hope into conscious love. Discover real-life examples and actionable tips that will help you reconnect with yourself, reclaim your emotional power, and finally experience balance and joy in your twin flame journey. This video will help you understand how your inner child impacts your twin flame experiences, signs of attachment, fear of letting go, and emotional dependence, steps to nurture your inner child and break the painful loop, tools to cultivate conscious love and emotional independence, practices to integrate healing into your daily life. Start your journey today and see how inner child healing can transform your twin flame connection into a conscious, empowered, and freeing experience. Don't wait for external validation. Your love and freedom start within you. CTA. Subscribe for more guidance on twin flame healing and inner child growth, and comment below your biggest takeaway. Hashtags: Inner Child and Twin Flame Healing, Conscious Love, Self-Healing, Spiritual Growth, Twin Flame Journey, Emotional Freedom, Healing Your Inner Child, Mindfulness, Self-Love.